Hello guys, how are you doing? Hoping you are doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. God bless you. Please, if you've not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Kindly hit the red button, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. So today we're gonna be talking about the Greece immigrants. As you've have heard that migrants have been sleeping rough for weeks since the Moria blaze. So there was a fire that happened in one of the camps in Greece, and the migrants have been sleeping outside since the blaze. So now the police in the island of Lesbos are moving thousands of migrants and refugees from the fire-gutted Moria camp to a new tent nearby. So it is about 70 female officers who are heavily protected in suits and went there to transfer children and other migrants to the temporary camp, which is Kara Tepe camp. So the government officials said that 1,800 had been moved into the Kara Tepe by early Thursday, but many migrants and refugees remain reluctant to stay on Lesbos as Moria was overcrowded and squalid. So they hope to go elsewhere in Europe, especially in Germany. So this is what is happening, that some migrants are reluctant to enter the new camp, and more than 12,000 people fled the Moria blaze, and most have been sleeping rough since the short of food, water and shelter. But officers began waking families early on Thursday to move them to the new camp. So guys, the fire broke out last week, and this was after 35 people tested positive for coronavirus, and some objected to being put into isolation after months of lockdown. So it's about people from 70 different countries. They had been sheltered at Moria, and most of them are from Afghanistan. And the German government has now agreed to take in 1,500 immigrants from Moria. They are from 408 families who have been received who have already received refugee status. So the government of Germany is ready to assist in taking 1,553 migrants from Moria, and these families have already received a refugee status. And earlier, Germany also said it would take in up to 150 unaccompanied minors, and by this, Greece flew about 400 children to the mainland, and the EU countries have agreed to receive them, though the details are not yet clear. So it is not yet clear, but at least 400 children have been flown to the mainland last week, and the EU countries have agreed to receive them. So let's see if we have more details concerning this. And since the 2015, the migrant crisis, the number arriving on Greek island near Turkey have fallen, but Greek camps like those in Italy still remain overcrowded. So though the number of the migrants have fallen, the camps are still overcrowded. And when Greece and Italy have actually accused wealthier northern nations in the EU of failing to share the burden, as irregular migrants, including refugees from war zones, continue to seek a new life in Europe. So the Greece and Italy feels like the northern European EU countries are not sharing the burden. So I yeah, maybe that is why their camps have been overcrowded, though Germany, like in this case, said it would take up to 150 unaccompanied minors. And yeah, so which is actually good. It's a good thing that Germany has helped in this situation. So guys, I hope you enjoy watching my video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and see you next time in my next video.
A wasteland of smoldering steel and charred tents. By Thursday morning, little remained of the migrant camp of Moria on the island of Lesbos, rocked by an overnight fire for the second day in a row. Flames Wednesday night forced the camp's residents to flee yet again, and came less than 24 hours after a first blaze devastated the refugee settlement. The largest in Greece, it had housed more than 12,500 people, over 4 times its capacity. While no one was injured in either fire, it's left thousands in need of emergency shelter. An investigation is underway to determine the cause of Tuesday's blaze, though Greece's migration minister has already pointed the finger at camp residents.
Διερευνούνται οι πραγματικές συνθήκες των γεγονότων. Το δεδομένο είναι ότι η πυρκαγιά ξεκίνησε από ετούντες άσυλο μέσα από τη δομή με αφορμή την καραντίνα. Δεν έχω κάποιο παραπάνω σχόλιο να κάνω από αυτό.
Of the thousands made homeless, many have been left to camp on roadsides, often without tents or basic bedding. Greek authorities say a ferry will shelter the most vulnerable, and that 2 Navy vessels will provide additional sleeping space for Thursday night. In the meantime, the government says it has transferred some 400 unaccompanied minors to the Greek mainland. A wasteland of smoldering steel and charred tents. By Thursday morning, little remained of the migrant camp of Moria on the island of Lesbos, rocked by an overnight fire for the second day in a row. Flames Wednesday night forced the camp's residents to flee yet again, and came less than 24 hours after a first blaze devastated the refugee settlement. The largest in Greece, it had housed more than 12,500 people, over 4 times its capacity. While no one was injured in either fire, it's left thousands in need of emergency shelter. An investigation is underway to determine the cause of Tuesday's blaze, though Greece's migration minister has already pointed the finger at camp residents.
Διερευνούνται οι πραγματικές συνθήκες των γεγονότων. Το δεδομένο είναι ότι η πυρκαγιά ξεκίνησε από ετούντες άσυλο μέσα από τη δομή με αφορμή την καραντίνα. Δεν έχω κάποιο παραπάνω σχόλιο να κάνω από αυτό.
Of the thousands made homeless, many have been left to camp on roadsides, often without tents or basic bedding. Greek authorities say a ferry will shelter the most vulnerable, and that 2 Navy vessels will provide additional sleeping space for Thursday night. In the meantime, the government says it has transferred some 400 unaccompanied minors to the Greek mainland.
Dressed in white protective suits, Greek police try to coax refugees into a new camp on the island of Lesbos. The UN Refugee Agency has welcomed the move, saying some 11,000 asylum seekers are still sleeping rough in squalid conditions.
As long as it is peaceful, we believe that it is a good move, considering that here on the street it is a risk for security, for public health, and it's not dignity which we need for everyone.
The new camp has a capacity of around 8,000 people. New arrivals are being tested for the coronavirus, with dozens so far found positive. Greek officials have arrested 6 young Afghans in connection with the fire that levelled Moria, Europe's biggest migrant camp, on September 8th, leaving some 12,000 homeless. Police say they've been using persuasion rather than force to move people to the new camp at a site not far from where Moria once stood. But many are reluctant to go, fearing they would again be left waiting for months to have their asylum requests processed.
يعني هذا المخيم هذا أنا بدي أفوت جوا سجن هذا نعتبره ما أعتبره مخيم.
They are saying that everybody that they are moved to the new camp, they just after one night they run away from that camp.
Greece has long called for more solidarity from other EU countries, saying it shouldn't be left to shoulder the burden of migration to the continent. But since the fire, only Germany has offered to relocate a substantial number of the refugees.